What's going on? Mike Newman here with Inside Natural Bodybuilding. Standing here with one of the best, Alberto Nunez. Got a couple clients in this show at the OCB National Championships, and John Bazzi here is helped me out with the video duties and interview duties, and we're sitting in front of the Core Nutritionals booth. Go check out corenutritionals.com. Check out some core tests to increase that testosterone by 48%. Berto, Yorton Cup's over with now. The pros just got off stage. How do you think the finals went? Were the placings about where you had them?
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland's just so overpowering.
Yeah.
Philip looked great. Everyone looked great, but there's just something about Cleveland. You know, he retains his fullness as he's dieting, and that's a very unique thing to have. So I agree. It's a great show, but right now Cleveland's just making it look real easy. Yeah,
I was on the edge of my seat. I mean, really, even if Phil would have won, you couldn't argue it either way. Either one of them could have took the win. Did you have Cleveland winning after prejudging?
Not after, well, after prejudging, yeah, Cleveland was way ahead in my opinion. Okay. And then just a few hours later, it's like Philip just mutated there before our eyes. And just, if he would have looked that way in the morning, I don't know. It would have been a much harder call.
Really?
I like the night version of Philip though.
Wow. Yeah. Well, nonetheless, Cleveland Thomas is your Yorton Cup, pro world champion. So there you have that. And it's said and done now. Let's get on to a couple other questions I've been dying to ask you. Now, there's a rule in the IFPA that states you have to compete once every 2 years to maintain your pro status. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's in conflict with my situation, the situation of a few other guys. I love to compete. I still think of myself as a competitor first, but I have a few other things going on, and primarily one is definitely my business and 3D Muscle Journey and focusing on my athletes and giving them the time that I think they deserve, and then other personal things as well. And yeah, I'm not alone. There's a few guys that are taking more than a 2-year break, and well, you can't do that according to the IFPA. So right. It's a tough place to be in because guys like Jeff, Alberts, Lane Norton. This rule affects all of us.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to feel about Lane Norton doing an amateur show, and I don't know how he would feel about that himself.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that. So what are you thinking? Once you're a pro, always a pro, or should there be a limit, like every 3 or 4 years? What do you think the ruling should be?
I'm not a big fan of paper all the time.
Yeah.
It's like it should be flexible depending on the situation.
Okay.
For example, Jeff, he's gonna have a kid here real soon, and you know how that is. Yeah, it's kind of hard to go up against the best of the world, and against the best guys in the world, and you're trying to raise a human being. So
okay, yeah, and I can understand that. I mean, if you're out of the sport for like 10, 12 years and you want to make this comeback, maybe then, who knows, but there's a lot of things that could be talked about, so I guess it's always something that can be disputed, and we'll make a story out of it and see what it gets to. One more diet prep coach question I wanted to ask you personally. You get a lot of competitors get on stage, and maybe they place lower than they thought they should have, and they come out and they say, well, I'm just holding a bunch of water, when really they're just too fat. How do you break it down to them?
If you didn't have lines in your butt the weeks leading into your show, that chances are, I'm sorry, it wasn't water. It's just I've yet to see someone do the impersonation of a reservoir. I've never seen it. There's certainly some hormonal shifts, but they're not going to ruin your conditioning. If you're in shape, you're in shape.
Yeah.
If you're in shape, you can go to the Cheesecake Factory and come back and you're still in shape.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to the Cheesecake Factory tonight. Not sure I'm going to have a piece of cheesecake, but that's where the official after party is for the Yorton Cup and the OCB National Championships. I'll be there in a few hours here. I'm going to hand the mic over to John Bazzi. You got to check out his website, prsnow.com. He's got some great things coming up and that are quite innovative. I'm going to hand the mic over to John. He's going to ask some scientific questions. He's going to be doing some shows for me in the coming year, so be on the lookout for John Bazzi.
Thanks, Mike. So, Berto, let's talk a little bit about, when we're trying to dial these clients in and we don't want it to be an issue of water and we're looking for them to be in shape and plenty of time for the show, what are some of your philosophies in terms of deciding how much to manipulate carbohydrates or fat, how you're going to manipulate macros for a specific client, and what are some of the things that, kind of go into you making those decisions?
Well, specifically on show day, it really depends on what you did to get here. If you were bouncing around, near ketogenic levels, I almost rather not do anything too drastic with carbohydrates. And if you were coming in on 400 grams of carbs, okay. And if you were a carb monster the whole way, then you're going to get to eat a bit more, and we can push it. We can push just how much we we're looking to reach in terms of fullness. You know, the whole thing with water, it's gotten better over the years. More guys are drinking water, but they just don't realize just how important that is. And you know, quite often it really accelerates all the good things you want to happen. You know, quite often just to get that competitor to where they need to be, it's all about just pushing that water, not pulling back on it. You know, if I think he's looking a little bit flat, quite often it's just like, give him some water. That's the only thing. He doesn't even need more food. It's water. It's just so crucial. And I wish there's so many guys here today, and I hate to say it, but even at the pro level, that just look amazing. And if they had a little water in them, it would be ridiculous.
Absolutely. I can definitely say myself, from interacting with some first-time competitors, I'd say it's a common mistake. You get dragged into kind of the traditional dogmas and philosophies, and a lot of people don't realize just what exactly, you know, the water can do for your physique. Coming into the topic of something like cardio, so we talked about diet. Obviously, that's one tool to bring the client into the shape you want them for a show. Additionally, if you look at cardio, what goes into your factors and decisions when you're trying to decide, okay, am I going to add HIIT cardio, or am I going to add low-intensity cardio, how much, for which client, and things like that?
Okay, well, you know, the thing with cardio is that just about everyone's going to have to do some cardio. I think I had one guy in the whole, I've seen hundreds of athletes at this point, one guy who got very close to doing no cardio, and he needed cardio at some point. But again, you want to do,
backstage, please.
You want to do as little as possible, and that's basically my philosophy when it comes to cardio. You're going to have to do some, most likely. But I think most guys do more than they need to. You know, if you can get lean and you're making great progress on 2 sessions of cardio a week, then that's fine. You know, it's not broken, don't fix it. So yeah, you're gonna have to do cardio. I'm sorry, you hate cardio, but I think people are either one extreme or the other. They take up cross country running, or they just, you know, they refuse to walk to the store.
Fair enough. And I know some of your clients are, their program involves more low-intensity cardio and others involves maybe more HIIT. What's kind of some of the things that go into you deciding what type of cardio to recommend?
Okay. Here we go. Here's a great example. And this guy right here standing behind the camera, Brian Miner.
That's why I'm asking the question.
He is a phenomenal athlete. I mean, he can just go wreck himself in the weight room. I mean, squats nearly 500 pounds, right, Brian? Yeah. So I want to have him be able to do that during his prep, you know, because that's what got him looking the way, you know, he looks. So, you know, one thing I would say is that if you're a bit more advanced, I think that high-intensity cardio, if you can keep that, if you can just not use it at all, because, I mean, in intervals and high-intensity cardio, nothing works better for fat loss. But there's diminishing returns, you know, after a certain point. There's only so much you can do before it actually starts tapping into your recovery. So, yeah, if you could do no cardio at all, great, it's not going to happen. And if you can get away with doing no high-intensity intervals, then that's awesome too. So it's the minimalist approach. That's me.
Sure. And so it sounds like if you had your choice between getting more of the means you're looking for via diet versus cardio, you would take diet manipulation any day, it sounds like.
Totally. The best fat loss is the one that happens while you're watching Monday Night Football. Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, until next time, this is John Bossi. We're here at the 2012 Core Nutritionals Yorton Cup. I'm here with top prep coach Alberto Nunez from Team 3DMJ. Be sure to check them out. Until next time, this is Inside Natural Bodybuilding. Thanks for watching.